hit that button. All
Oh,
right.
look at that.
Excellent.
I think this might be one of the first times we've gone live on the hour.
On the hour. Listen,
That's,
we're getting better.
yeah.
I
It's
think
only,
once we get 100 episodes in, then maybe we'll have some sort of like
uh,
workflow.
I think it requires having maybe 5 or 10 episodes where we do it each week.
Mm,
I don't know if we've had that long a stretch where we actually show up every week.
Yeah, we gotta stop traveling at least. I would assume
Yeah.
that seems to be one of those things.
Work
Yeah,
gets in the way.
always.
We should both quit
Hmm.
and dedicate ourselves
I'll-
to this money making activity.
Yeah, I mean, we're starting to get sponsorship inquiries, right?
Yeah.
No, not yet.
No, I didn't see that. I didn't see that.
What is that like? I hear there's lots of money in AI. Maybe we can get some sort of AI.
Yeah.
Get Anthropic or something. OpenAI.
We haven't seen that yet, but yes.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some dollars in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Just give me 1 second here. I'm just gonna open up a document so I can take notes. I am doing really well. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Yeah.
Surprisingly, like we were just talking before the stream, like honestly, haven't gotten sick or anything lately.
Yeah.
Barring like a small cough, so that's good. Just went on some vacations, which is great. We might be getting a puppy soon, which I think we talked about last episode. So it's like a reverse, I don't know, cowboy song, I guess. Reverse country song. my truck is fine. I still have my wife, Not drinking. all the good news. Yeah. All the good news.
Yeah.
How about yourself? How have things been?
Been good. I guess I got sick about a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, you're coughing a bit last stream.
Yeah. And but all that's gone. Really so in all previous sicknesses, if I got some cough that wouldn't go away, I would always request the same thing. And it was like this I can't remember what the drug name is, like a syrup, and it's codeine based, like codeine-nosfat or something like that. Something like that.
Interesting.
And it was like the one thing that would make the cough stop, and so you could go to sleep. And then they a few times ago, they tried putting me on this other benzotate something, which is like these little weeny pearls that look like they don't do anything. They said, okay, take one of these every twice a day. And so I went to the doctor, a few times later, said, we'd like to try giving you this other stuff, which is a little bit easier for us to justify than using like a class
because I just
1
Googled
drug.
what you told me exactly, and I was like, oh, I didn't even know about this. It's called Purple Drank, which I didn't know. It's called promethazine and codeine, and it's like a Schedule 1 narcotic as of the 90s. I've never heard of this.
And now you can get it.
I can understand them wanting to try something else.
Yeah, I mean, you can get it in pill form over the counter in Spain, I think.
Interesting.
Which is
Canada. We have like a whole like health note, Government of Canada page for codeine and promethazine.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I used to, every time I go through Spain, I'd always pick up some of a roll of those things. Amazing. But anyway, so they said, you'd like to try on this thing. It says, well, I tried that before and it just didn't work. So it's really, what dosage do they give you? It's like 1 every 12 hours. Oh, that's not going to do anything for you. You need 3 every, 4 times a day. It's like, okay. And tried that and said, you won't feel anything for any effect for like 24 hours, but then it'll be like magic. It's like I did it for 24 hours. Like, this is not helping. I still need more stuff. 24 hours later, gone.
That's amazing.
But
amazing. Also, this is like 1 order of magnitude, which I think in medicine is a lot.
Yeah.
Generally, it can be like a small change and make a big improvement. But like 10 times or more.
12
times more.
Yeah. So so I did that, and I still am taking a couple of 2 or 3 a day, but for the most part, it makes the cough go away completely.
Wow,
it's amazing stuff.
That's good.
So it's a lot easier to. I also prefer having something like that around the house than a bottle of codeine.
Right, which I mean, with
Which
children
with
and
the children around just in case.
dogs, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a fan of codeine,
Yeah.
honestly. It works as so in the US, can you get it's called Tylenol 3 here, but is
I
that something you've heard of? It used to be something
don't
we could
know.
just go and buy at the store,
Oh, yeah?
and I think it's basically Tylenol with codeine, but I think
Hmm.
now it's, I'm trying to think of the term, behind the counter, I think, so you'd have to, like, talk to a pharmacist before
Yeah.
getting it now. Yeah, Canada's, a little bit slower on the uptake, I
Yeah.
guess. We don't have
Yeah.
the resources like, your FDA might, for example.
Right. Right.
Wow, that is very interesting. And today we learned purple drank with an A,
Purple.
not an I. Purple drank, yes, is what you were taking before, apparently.
Hmm. Okay.
Promethazine and
Yeah.
codeine.
Oh, it was great. It was great stuff.
I can imagine. I've had codeine before. I've never had promethazine. I think it was called.
And the last time, you get this bottle and it's like 10 milligrams per day kind of thing, or in the evening and maybe once in the morning.
Right.
And but definitely don't operate any heavy machinery. But
Right.
10 milligrams, twice a day for like a week, you need like a bottle of this size or
Right.
something like that. The last time I got a bottle like this. And it was like I was like, really? This is the smallest I'd like smaller. I said, no, your prescription was for massive amount. It's like,
Oh,
oh,
wow.
okay. And so it lasted me like 3 sicknesses
Right.
because, it just kept going.
That over prescribing though is a whole
Yeah.
other thing too,
Yeah.
right? Like I don't
That's
need
another
all
problem.
these. Yeah.
Yeah.
So weird. Well, listen, knock on wood. I'm happy we're both feeling better.
Yes. Yes.
The holidays are coming around. We're in the home stretch here. Hopefully, like reminder to any
Mm.
listeners we may or may not have. Make sure to go out and buy something for your loved ones. Do it now. Don't do it later. Hopefully, you're ahead of the curve here, Matt. Yes. No.
Well,
Well, like with children and stuff, sometimes there's a toy that you can't get to, so you got to start pretty quickly. We're almost in December.
yes. Yes.
It's a month away.
We have taken so we've taken care of Stella. She's all set for both birthday, which is coming up
Yep.
in a week, as well as or 2 weeks for Christmas. So she's all set.
Look at you go.
And
your significant other, your very high? Yep.
my wife and I and mother and a sister, I think sister. Well, I mean, I know I have a sister, but I think we've agreed with my sister.
I think I have a sister versus I know we have a sister.
We've agreed, yeah, no presents for us,
Mhm.
but presents for Stella. And that way she enjoys Christmas, but we don't really need anything. So,
Right.
and so we'll just do a nice dinner out.
Oh, that's nice.
There's a restaurant here on the island that my sister saw, like in, I don't know, Bon Appetit magazine or one of the magazines. She gets like physical magazines, and it listed like the 10 best restaurants in the U.S. And this one on Bainbridge Island is one of them.
No way.
Sea Star or Sea Spray, something like that.
Very cool.
Yeah, so
that's pretty easy. I say all this as someone who has not done any of this. We do a Secret Santa thing, and I may have had some assistance this year. I got to get better with this stuff, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, we just had a set of sales at most online and physical retailers. Did you buy anything for Black Friday or Cyber Monday?
Yeah, I kind of spoiled it last week, but I Aperture got my money this year, all of my money.
Okay, yeah.
I got the Fresnel, and I got the projector, the Spotlight SE, and I got some other stuff, another modifier, that kind of thing.
Right.
What else did I get? And a tube light, another tube light. So now I've got 2.
Okay.
I've been really liking those tube lights. I mean, they're not.
Yeah.
They need motivation. So like, if you're gonna
Yeah.
use them in a shot, they need to have like,
Yeah.
why is this here? Why is half
Right,
the
right.
scene purple? Or
Right.
you just leave the light in the shot, kind of thing. But they're
Yeah.
really fun to work with, and people really enjoy. I think any like portraits with gels. So like, ooh, this
Yeah.
is fancy. You know what I mean? Like, it's just
Right.
red and blue split, but whatever. It really
Yeah.
makes people happy. So those, and I've been I got a new filter, so a new black mist filter as well, which kind of
Okay.
works with the gels, especially when you're pointing them at the camera.
Right.
But they're amazing. I can't speak
Yeah.
highly enough about Amaran stuff, like the cheaper Aperture
Yeah.
kind of brand. Just love it. A lot of things were 30, 40, 50% off. So Yeah,
Mm.
I was very happy. I
Wow.
didn't spend too much, but definitely got a lot of value out of my dollar, I think. And
Cool.
then yeah, I didn't spend any dollars really on Black Friday or Cyber Monday. I kind of
Okay.
repurchased before then, but
Yeah.
I've already started using the gear that I got.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
awesome.
good.
It's practical stuff. Yeah.
Cool.
How about yourself? Did you find any awesome
Yeah,
deals?
a few. Well, there were a few things that my wife and I have been like, yeah, we should get this. Well, maybe we should wait till Black Friday,
Mhm.
whatever, and we might get it cheaper. It's like, okay, fine,
Right.
we can hold off for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever it was. So one of them was so we a few years ago we bought our first robot vacuum
Right.
and have totally like now rely on it.
Right. It's just part of your life, right?
And the first one we got was like a Eufy, I think,
Okay.
some
Which I think
Chinese
Anchor.
manufacturer.
Well, Anchor owns it. Yeah. I
Okay,
believe.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then we moved on to the Roborock, which at the time had been highly rated.
Right.
And I got the one that was a mop, but that ended up being terrible and went back down to the highest end, just vacuum.
Right.
And that was great for about just after the 1 year warranty ended, it
Right. I
crapped
recall
out.
you mentioning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awful.
And so we bought a iRobot, which
Okay.
is
Those are pretty well
easily,
reviewed.
yeah, easily the worst vacuum I've ever owned. I don't
I mean, you
know.
could have got a lemon, but yeah, awful.
I think
Sounds
that
like you've tried a bunch of different ones. So
I think generally when you first get it, it's pretty good, and most reviews look at it
Mhm.
for a day or two, and yeah, it seems to be
Right.
pretty good. It's louder than anything else out there, but
Oh, is it
and
more
it's apparently
powerful?
one of their a quieter one for
That's
my
nice.
robot, and it's super loud because it's like hard rubber rollers, so it's really awful for that. And if you have anything on the floor like bigger than dust,
Right.
it's going to wreck the rollers.
Really?
And so you have any sort of hair or any sort of like long hair.
I'm
I
no
don't have long
expert,
hair,
and listen, I'm
but
not a product manager, but you would assume hair would be part of the thing that the
that would be
robot
part of,
vacuum
and
would,
it like
would see, right?
shreds up the roller. So you need to buy a new
Ah,
roller every few. We ended up having to buy like 8 rollers over the course of the year because they keep getting shredded up.
wow.
It was just and one of the reasons I got it was that it has a 1 year warranty, but if you pay like a little bit extra, you get an extended 2 years added onto it.
So that's
But you have to do it
3 years
3 years
total.
total.
That's pretty
But you
good.
have to do it through the app, and the app has to let you know it's time to do it, and it doesn't ever let you know.
Ah,
And when you reach out to them, it says, "Oh well, you've already passed the time, so nothing we can do." Like this is the reason I got it,
that's some
and
Google
now
level
it's
BS right there.
yeah,
Like, nah,
and
sorry,
now
you
I
can't
can't
reach out to
return it.
support.
Yeah, so I hate
Ah,
iRobot. I think it's garbage.
that's horrible.
And so this time I looked online, what's the best of the robot vacuums, and
Right.
it's a company that I've never heard of.
Always a good
Um,
sign.
and so I don't know if it's going to last long.
Right.
But it's from a company called Dream,
Hmm.
the DreamBot L20 Ultra, and it
Mm.
just arrived like 10 minutes before we started here. So I haven't pulled it out of the box. The box is super heavy. I don't know
Okay.
what is in this thing.
That's a good sign.
Um,
Generally, unless they're putting like lead fishing weights
uh,
in it or something.
yeah, I don't know, but it can be returned until end of January. I
Okay.
expect to return it because it is a vacuum and mop, and most of the time these mop in a robot vacuum is meant for the kind of floors that most people have. But we have a floor where you have to
Right.
dump a huge amount of water on it and then
Right.
let it sit for a little bit and then wipe it off.
Gotcha.
And most of these they can't handle that amount of water.
Now I'm no expert, but I feel like the robot vacuum and the robot mop could be two different products. They don't
They
necessarily
should
need to
be.
be
I
the
feel
same
like
thing.
they should be 2 different products. Yeah.
Interesting.
So we'll see. I expect to return it, but it was because of Black Friday, it was like $600 off down to
Wow.
$1,000.
I mean,
So
still pretty pricey.
it's a $1,600 vacuum.
Wow.
Yes, it's insane. I
It
mean,
it It had better be a dream at that cost.
Better be a dream. Yes.
Like I again, not an expert on robot vacuums, but I think they're generally around 400 US, 500 US. Is that about right?
Yeah, 4 to 8.
Close?
Yeah.
Okay.
For
Maybe
most
I'm
of them,
thinking
yeah.
Samsung robot vacuum or something.
Yeah.
With employee discount. Who knows?
And I mean, we got our like Miele upright. I think it's Miele upright kind of vacuum, regular vacuum, and it was expensive. It was $2,000.
Miele is one of those brands. It's the
yeah, and it's we're 8 years in, and it's still perfect.
Yeah,
and in
Miele is that Miele for the rest of us, or Miele?
Yeah,
the Miele, that one.
Yeah.
I think you're saying it right. In my brain,
Yeah.
it's Miele. Yeah.
And in that same amount of time, or half of that amount of time, I've had 4 robot vacuums or so, because they just they don't last.
That's not good.
And they're all 800. I mean, they're crazy expensive. But then again, it means that, little bits of dirt and dust that's around the house, we never feel it. It's just
pretty cool.
It's pretty
Especially with
amazing.
a dog and a child, right? Like, there's going to be Cheerios somewhere that you're just not going to see that will just rot. So that's good.
Yeah.
Or the dog is eating old Cheerios, or both.
So that I'm looking forward to trying that, and but again, I'm expecting to return it.
So I have to ask the obvious. Did you pre-install the app? Because that, for me, it shouldn't be the thing, but often if I don't like the app, like we were talking about Aperture lights, right? And why you don't like them, you don't like the app, and I get it. Also hate the app. I do wonder though, for the robot,
that would have been a good idea.
There's like the schedule, I think, can be like, listen, used to work for Samsung. We had a robot vacuum. Our software wasn't always the best for things like dishwashing, washing machines, that kind of stuff, where you had to set a schedule or a timer. And you'd think that we have this, solved as an industry.
Right.
That, like a date picker is one of those things. You shouldn't need a whole microservice team for a date picker. But anyway, I'll put my soapbox away for now. But I do wonder about these apps, because something that simple can often be a chore.
That is a good point, because then I would not have ever bought the iRobot and stuck with Roborock, because Roborock makes a okay app, but the iRobot app is
serviceable, right?
garbage.
Yeah, and some people complain about the way they look, but as long as it works, that's the biggest thing for me.
But then again, the iRobot, it looks okay, but it doesn't actually function until it can actually connect to the robot.
Oh no!
And so you can't really judge it, and so that wouldn't have done anything.
Right.
But yeah.
Some of them have tutorials with like a simulator. Now that when we were looking at, what to do in the IoT space, some of them have like an onboarding with there's a term for this, digital twin kind of stuff. Anyways, just a fake device that you can play around with. It's actually pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Sidus Link, for example, from Aperture, which we hate, does have a sample set up, and like you save, you set up a cool lighting profile, you want to save it, this is how you do it later, because the app is awful and needs it. Apps shouldn't require this. That one definitely does. Maybe that's why I like it, because I went through the tutorials. But I do feel like that virtual device that you're playing around with is key as part of your app onboarding, unfortunately. I don't know. iRobot, if you're listening, some product manager out there somewhere, maybe you can get voice of the customer here.
So I got a couple other things. I mean, we're gonna like blow away the whole show on
that. Listen, that is fine. Apparently, all we talk about is AI and stuff we bought last week. If we're looking at a trend, so I think we're okay. It's like consumerism plus AI. What do we got here? That looks like a tripod. Am I wrong? A mini tripod?
It is a Hoto screwdriver.
Ooh, wow.
So
it's got a lot of power.
It does, and it's got 3 settings for, I guess, torque. And then it's got, in the case, it's got like a whole bunch of the screwdriver bits.
Nice.
This is it's Hoto, which is part of Samsung, I think.
Oh, Hoto Tools. Yeah, I believe you recommended something from here a while
ago. Tape measure. Yeah, their tape measure is great. This thing is, it feels like it's a little disappointing.
How so? I don't
because here's this.
So I looked that up just to dispel that myth quickly. Now let's get into it. So
is it not Samsung?
Doesn't look like it. Looks really well built, but I do worry about the grip on that thing, having just pulled up the photo.
It's awesome. It feels great, and it feels like it's solid. It's nice and heavy. It feels great. It comes with a case.
Okay.
Okay, so you put the the screwdriver in there.
Oh, it's one of those charging. Yeah. Okay.
Well, okay. So,
Sorry.
So here's the case, and it's got all. That's where all the bits fit.
Yeah.
And to charge it, you need to have this cable, which doesn't actually get stored in the case. It's this other dangly bit.
Annoying.
Okay. And to charge there's the little charging thing on the screwdriver. So you would expect, there's a little charging thing right there. No.
Yeah.
No.
What?
So you have to store it. You store it in here, but to charge it, you got to take it out and plug it in to this dangly thing. Cable.
What is the thing that holds it inside? It's just a receptacle to keep it so it doesn't rotate?
It just holds it there. And so now you can close up this. I feel like this is
missed opportunity.
So wasted. Yeah.
Or maybe it needed to be upside down, and then they figured it out later. Like, hey, we can't put the charging part and the bits part, and not.
Yeah.
That's.
And then this thing, it doesn't lock. It just it's turned. There's no.
This makes that awful sound.
There's no click.
This is Matt's ASMR.
So it just kind of when it just falls off and it falls apart. So.
Oh, that is actively awful. So if you pick it up from the top, it drops on the.
It'll drop because it probably slip on its own.
Wasn't there a lawsuit about
in
the U.S. about grabbing the cup from the top? And
yeah. I mean, it's not got hot boiling liquid in it, but still, it's
You're at the top of your roof. You're screwing
it's nice that it's got a little light. It's got a little light on here, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So you see that it
honestly, if we're comparing about the case, I think that's a problem.
Now it was $25 or something. So it's for the screwdriver. I'd say it's great. I wish it were a little smaller. I was thinking this would be something I just kind of throw in the kitchen extras drawer for when I need to fix something.
Right. I'm looking at this. It's quite a bit more expensive than that. Maybe I'm looking.
No, it was Black Friday.
Oh, gotcha.
I got it because it's like 40% off or 50% off. And then there are other kits that are. There's one that's got a lot of like general tools, and that one, you plug it in and you charge the case, which is the way it should be. Yeah. This one, what a waste.
The site is still like everything half off. Maybe they're showing me in Canadian.
Oh, yeah?
It looks like that one is $47.99. It's possible that's Canadian because
I think it.
But yeah, $25 for an electric screwdriver is nothing to scoff at. But the design isn't great.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me take a look at what I paid. Not that it matters.
I don't mean to call you out on the discount. Regardless, it's still half off, which looks good. And for an electric screwdriver, I'd say
you order details.
50 Canadian is pretty
good. I remember it's cheaper than it was. It was $35. It was $35.
Yeah. So this side I think is in Canadian. And they've got one here that's 87 Canadian, which I think would be about 65 US, which is also pretty good. That one seems to have the charging case.
Yeah. And that would be a whole lot better.
Hold up. You didn't get the Supreme edition? I'm so disappointed.
I got the one because it was like $30.
The Supreme 30-ish. Way more than 30. I think it's 179. But it's a whole kit. But
I'm not getting that.
It comes in red. It says Supreme on the side. It's got a hammer. It's got a screwdriver.
Yeah. See, I don't need that stuff.
It's 136 Canadian, which I think is 99 USD. It says here, and it won a Red Dot award. If that means anything.
Oh, you mean they paid for an award?
I think that's.
I think that's one that you pay for.
I think so. Well, you pay to be in the finalist or something like that. You pay to be in the list, and then they like.
And everyone who's a finalist gets the award. You pay to get it.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
It does come in red. It actually looks.
It comes
really
in blue
nice.
too.
Oh, I didn't see a blue.
Those are nice colors. I don't want to pay an extra $140 for it, but
it does. Yeah, it does look like you have to pay more for the colors. Which is and you got the classic version. Okay, so the new version doesn't come with that massive case at all.
Oh.
There's no case,
which
I guess solves your problem. there's no bits.
Okay.
And it does come in blue, and I think it's more expensive. Interesting.
Yeah.
What does the case do? What am I missing here? What
What
that
does this case do?
Yeah, with the top
Nothing.
part. Yeah, okay. What is
Nothing.
the top part of that case does nothing, right?
Does nothing.
Okay. Aside from letting you pick it up and it falling.
Yes. That's all it does. It's stupid.
Fantastic.
I have their tape measure. It's amazing.
Yeah, I remember looking at the tape measure. This is
the tape measure is
stuff,
great.
honestly. I generally use a Wiha. I don't know if we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Wiha is like a German brand. WIHA. It might even be Wiha. But I think it's Wiha. They make tools that seem to last forever. Is my issue. It's just they just don't die. I had like a dog chew on one of the screwdrivers I used all the time, and I still just use it. Like it's where the grip is too, but it's still totally fine. It's amazing.
Wow.
But they're like they're ESD tools. So as someone
ESP?
who made ESD, electrostatic discharge safe, they're made for working on like power lines or like electrical.
I often find myself on power lines.
If you're me, what you're doing is you're turning on your computer using a screwdriver on like the header part. Is literally what I might use a Phillips screwdriver for. So this is the key. I don't know if you knew you could do that. So there's little headers on a motherboard, and you plug in the power cable there. But instead of doing that, you can just rake the like a screwdriver over them. It will turn on. This is what you learn when you've built like at least 100, if not hundreds, of PCs in my lifetime.
I feel like I need a little bit more of that codeine syrup before I try that.
Right?
Right.
This is one of those like hillbilly tech things that you're probably better off not knowing. But Wiha's quite good, but they don't have any electrical or anything like that. And at this point in time, I am getting to the point where I just need a little assistance sometimes.
Yeah. So I got just two more things.
Okay, but before we end in this one, does it come with an Allen key? Because we got to ask the IKEA question. Does it come with like I think it's T8 forks or whatever Allen key? Because you need that for all of your IKEA.
One thing that is nice about all the bits. Well, of course, the downside to the bits is that they're just under the level of this, and so trying to get them out is really kind of hard.
Just bad design. Like, there's no way they won this award.
And this is a H5.
Also Hex 5, yeah. I think it's H8 for IKEA.
H8 is H6. No, it's got to be 6 or 5 because that looks about the size. It can't be 8.
I think
it'd be huge.
I believe so. I'm just checking their screwdrivers just to make sure, because IKEA has a screwdriver here. The Fixa tools.
Oh yeah, I think I have that.
I'm just pulling it up. Yeah, I think a lot of people do. So let's pull up the kit, and they have. Oh, you might be right. It might be Hex 6.
I mean, H5 is pretty big for that kind of thing.
It is, in fact, pretty big. I may be misremembering here, or straight up just don't know. I'm trying to zoom in, but yeah, this looks right because H5 and H6 are their largest. So it might even be like a 4 or a 3. But yeah, they've got 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I think you're right. I didn't realize how big H8 was. Huh? Okay, so you're set. So you can make IKEA furniture, which is where like a lot of people are going to use this powered set because it's tiring. Like doing one thing at a time, no problem. Doing like 60 of them, you quickly lose patience.
The biggest thing is that Stella, all the toys that require any sort of batteries, they don't just have like a clip. They have a clip and a screw to ensure that children don't pull the batteries out. I think those batteries will last a long time if you turn off the toy, but kids don't turn off toys.
No,
just leave it on. It'll be ready.
You're not
going to
put in like sleep functionality into this IC that
you these things. You're not buying a $10 piano with an auto sleep function.
Right.
So I am unscrewing a lot and screwing them back in a lot, and that is really the big thing. So all I need is a small Phillips screwdriver, and I'm good.
Fair enough.
But so that's it. And in fact, so the screwdriver set that I have in the kitchen drawer is one from a Boston-based robotics company, and it was like just their like free giveaway at some tech event in Boston when I was still at Datadog.
That's smart.
So I still use them, and it was some name I always forget, but then at KubeCon,
sorry, back up. See, you're supposed to remember the name.
Yeah, I don't remember
the name. Swag's not working. If you want goodwill, like you got to have a memorable name.
But then a guy came by and he stopped by the Ollama booth, and he was from that company. It's like I saw the name of the company.
Awesome.
I said,
and you still don't remember.
And I know you. It says, "Are you based in Boston?" He says, "Yeah." How'd you know that? Because I have one of your screwdriver sets. Like, we don't sell screwdriver sets. We sell robots. I know. At this event, you gave away the screwdriver set 8 years ago.
Right.
I have it. I don't know anything about what you do, but
yeah, see, there's good parts of the story, and then the good parts are you remember it, use it often, you know exactly where it is in your house. So definitely like a good piece of swag. Bad part is it doesn't seem to relate enough to the business for it to be memorable.
Yeah. So at the event, one of our guys went to like every booth and collected all the stuff they were giving away, and like asking like the marketing people, well, how much did this cost per unit? Just trying to get a good idea of how much does everything cost.
Yeah.
And like even down to the t-shirts, like how much did that cost per shirt? And usually the people who knew were there in the booth. And so we collected all these things, and then he's got like 10 different stuffed animals. Says, okay, my gift to Stella. And so I brought them all home, and her favorite is a cow.
Okay.
A stuffed cow.
All right.
And it's from a company called Compliance Cow.
See, it's right in the name.
Yes. So Compliance Cow is written on the shirt that the cow is wearing. The first thing that Stella did on receiving this cow was remove the shirt.
Off, of course.
And she loves the cow from Compliance. I remember it's Compliance Cow.
Yep.
But no one else will because the label's gone.
Right. But that's probably like when you're customizing your swag, it's probably like, and you can customize the shirt because they've already made the cow, presumably.
Yeah. You probably just buy the shirt and pick a stuffed animal that goes in it. Yeah. It's gonna be the same shirt for Rover Rabbit, and
at least even without the shirt, like this is a cow. The company has cow in the name.
Yes.
2 cows. What other company has cow in the name? The Compliance Cow. Got to be them. You know what I mean? There's not a lot.
Yeah, 2 cows. Yeah.
Sorry, this is like a dead brand.
Yeah, is 2 cows still? 2 cows isn't around, is it?
I thought they were bought up by the company that does the Yellow Pages company.
Like Donnelly Directory or
they're Canadian or were Canadian. They're publicly traded. Wow. Okay. They are definitely still around.
Huh.
Still making money. Interesting. It looks like Dish may have bought them at some point in time. Yeah. Interesting.
Wow.
And then they made a billing platform.
Shareware distribution or
all types of stuff. 2 Cows, I think, was like a hosting kind of company back in the day. They'd sell you domains on the cheap, that kind of stuff. But like that's
right.
They're known for. I know because Internic, the Canadian registrar, was awful, and I thought it was 2 Cows that was awful, and it turned out our rulings are awful. Yeah, or were. I think we've had some better stuff. Not to give Internic a bad name, but listen, our beginnings weren't as great as in the US with the .com. But yeah, 2 Cows is one of those things. It looks like Dish owns them now, and this is all I know about cow-related companies in our industry. So Compliance Cow, which I won't forget now.
Yeah,
that's very stuck in my head. That's pretty smart.
Yeah. Versus the SUSE chameleon.
I love that.
It has SUSE like embroidered into the chameleon itself.
I've got one.
And so Stella has 3 of those.
Oh yeah. I love the chameleon.
Yeah. Different colors.
Well, they went through branding changes and stuff like that when Attachmate, I think, bought them. But yeah, it's still pretty cool. But I like that. So, like coming from companies with maybe cute logos, you get plushies of possibly dogs and things like that, and people maybe associate.
Yeah, I mean, her one of her favorite kind of stuffed animals is the Datadog dog that's kind of a crochet dog
Right.
that
I've
is
seen a few of
stuffed,
those. Yeah.
and it's the standard gift that every
It's like parents, right?
parents
Yeah.
get when they get a newborn. Somebody at Datadog ships them out
When they get a
it's a
newborn.
kit.
Just
When they pick one up at the store, generate one. Yeah.
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 It seems to be
It's great.
pretty popular, at least in terms of
Yeah.
like internal swag.
It's
as well.
amazing.
Yeah.
That and the I'm a pup onesie.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But I do think about swag a lot. Sorry to like totally steamroll your
No.
your purchase. I think you got 2 more left. My apologies. But the
Well,
branding is
2 that
something
are
I think
related.
about. Oh, there we go.
They're all the same. 3 that are all the same
All
thing.
screwdrivers.
Well, so I have coming from, as somebody who has had lots of apartments, and this is really the first, well, this is kind of the second house, or somewhat permanent location. I guess all the other places have always been, longest I was at was 4 years or 5 years.
Also, like very transitory.
Yeah, and this is, I mean, we're not planning to move until Stella graduates, and I'm sure we'll still be here after that. And so I've always had this like a tool set that fits in like a portable thing, and then this other bag of tools for other stuff.
Where you have 109 tools that you never touch.
Yeah, and then my mother was cleaning out her garage, and gave me a whole bunch of more tools, and a lot of these things are like drill bits from 30 years ago, or
they'll last like diamond tip drill bits last a long time. Yeah.
But how do you store these so you can find them or figure out what each one is?
Right.
Or even just figure out. So originally I was looking at, well, is there a way to store these things? And most, storage sets come with the bits and the, all the, it's like, well, how about if I
get like a tackle box or whatever?
Yeah. And so maybe I shouldn't worry about like storing them and being able to find them organized. Maybe I should just think about, let me just have a mason jar and put a whole bunch of drill bits in there and have gauges to figure out which drill bit do I have, what size do I have. And so now I got a whole bunch of these things that are, all the holes and all the sizes. And if you look on one side, it's metric, and the other side, it's whatever, imperial.
Yeah.
And then, another set, which pieces fall out of. And it's, and this one is kind of interesting because it is on this side up here. They're actually jagged.
Right.
And that lets you compare the thread. And so you can see what it's a M, what is the thing?
It's gotta be pretty big.
M8, M2.5, or whatever thread count or thread, the angle of the thread.
Yep.
So I got these, and I figured, well, this might actually help me figure out which one's which, rather than I don't think I own that. Let me go buy another one.
Yes, that happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
Yes. Or you've got all the bits, and then the one that you need is missing. Which happens to me all the time. And it's like it's in a screwdriver that somebody borrowed and never brought back, like a holder plus a bit kind of thing.
Yeah, so for the screwdriver bits, I actually bought a set from of Amazon, $25, with 300 pieces or something. It turns out that almost everyone has a duplicate, and some of like the Phillips heads have 20 duplicates.
That's weird.
But at first I thought, wow, that sucks. But those are the bits that in my other sets are broken because they break.
Like the PH1 or PH2, I'm always using those ones. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. So those are my purchases, and we've taken up all this
what do
time.
those go in or on?
So these are they're just here, and you take a screw or take a drill bit and just not that bit. It's too big, too small for that hole, or too small for that one.
I thought it was
and
like
then
an
you
organizer.
figure out.
It's a sizer.
No, this is just you stick it in there and try to figure out. Okay, well, that's a 6mm drill bit or whatever it is.
Gotcha. Now I don't want to get next level on you or anything, but I was assuming that there was a box or something that went under those and all the bits went in. Okay.
No.
I mean, listen, you could make a box or cut one down to size.
Yeah, and I'm sure I have duplicates.
Also true.
Yeah. So there were a bunch of those as well, but I wasn't sure. I mean, I didn't know enough about what I had to know what I need.
I bought a Ryobi OnePlus way back in the day, like a long time ago, back when OnePlus was pretty good battery technology. But what I still have is this like bit set that came with it. It was one of those probably Black Friday sales where you got like a bit set, but the bit holder in the kit and everything is way more valuable to me than the drill itself, because everything goes back in place. If there's one missing, then I know I forgot to put one back in, and it's fantastic. But it's it's like 200 bits all in this like big plastic case, and if I need to go in there, you know that's something very specific. But still, it's good to know that I've got that sort of there. Because otherwise, I'm the same as you. I'd end up buying like another 8-bit set or 10-bit set, and then I've got tons of duplicates.
Right.
It's such a mess.
So that's Black Friday.
Awesome. Now those are hardware elements, and I don't mean to distinguish between Black Friday and Cyber Monday, but it seems like software is a big deal on Cyber Monday. And I've looked through like all of the offers that people sent me, and none of them were interesting to me. Memberships, all this stuff, like sign up for a year for free or whatever. Like, nah, none of it was appealing. And it seems to be a theme. It seems like Black Friday and Cyber Monday weren't that popular this year. There's also a bit of like an inflationary period going on, at least in North America, which is probably affecting this. But it does look like this Black Friday and Cyber Monday was like a little bit less popular than people expected this year, unfortunately. But did you get any software or get any software deals that look good?
No. I mean, the one thing that I think I often do at this time of year is renew my Quokka JS license. I have not done that because I tend to spend more time, if I'm doing anything JavaScript, I tend to spend more time in Dino, and it doesn't work with Dino.
Right.
So I don't know if I'm going to renew that. And I can't think of other tools that.
Like I went looking for Notion, for example. It's like, listen, I'll get a new account, I'll renew, whatever. They've got a VIP thing. I don't think there are any deals for Notion. There are a lot of people selling templates, which I thought was really interesting. I didn't buy any, but I do find it interesting that there's like another market for things that are similar to that. And on that theme, there were like Envato elements. I'm not sure if you were ever
it's been a while, but I did used to care about
sometimes you want like a palette or something like that, but they had a massive sale on. Also didn't look there, but a lot of these things are like 3D assets and stuff like that were on crazy sales. It's just that I've already purchased these years ago, and I just kind of don't need it anymore. But yeah, I was a little bit disappointed, I guess, on the Cyber Monday sales as opposed to the Black Friday.
Yeah.
Like, there wasn't a lot of good. Samsung's had some bad SSDs that are on sale, but if you didn't know they were bad SSDs, you might buy those. And I'm saying bad within quotes here, but basically as they get full, they corrupt themselves, which is never good. I think this is pretty well widely recognized as not being the best hardware. SanDisk as well, I guess we're failing, and those are on sale too. And that's the worst. Like when you got a portable SSD backup device and it fails on you, not great. So those are the only like deals that I saw, but
I mean, most of the software that I can't think of any software that any special. I mean, what have I bought that's software? I mean, I bought the I guess there's a few subscriptions. I mean, I still have Adobe, the basic, Lightroom / Photoshop, $10 a month type of thing.
The photo bundle, that's 20 Canadian dollars, by the way.
Okay. I don't know why I have it, because I never use Photoshop.
Really?
Wow. With Pixelmator and the Affinity software, there's no reason. Photoshop, an ancient tool.
I wouldn't agree, but I can understand why you might think this. I use Photoshop a lot.
Why would I need Photoshop?
I think you clipped pretty badly there. It was nice. It was like a YouTube meme or something.
Yeah.
Just yelling into the mic. But a lot of people do find Lightroom itself is getting a lot of the features that they want in Photoshop. And think if I wasn't dodging and burning, specifically is what I use all the time, I would be in the same boat. But they've got that generative fill. You haven't used that at least. It's kind of interesting.
I haven't turned it on in a while.
Okay.
So.
And I think the last time we talked about that tool, I had mentioned that sometimes this one generative fill on your image, regardless of what's in there, there is a workaround. So I did find it. If you push, just type period in what it wants to fill instead of a blank, it will get past whatever filter it is. If your image doesn't have anything bad in it, you can just say period. Because like sometimes we'll say the results are against their TOS. And it's like, what? This is a photo of a person's face. Please stop.
Yeah,
but I have found it, and generally it's like there's a light bulb behind them or something. I've done, or like an outlet. Typically, if it's me, I'm removing an outlet most of the time. But yeah, it's there is a workaround, which is nice. But I do use Photoshop still, and I find that link between Lightroom and Photoshop is pretty nice.
Right.
But again, I'm not really compositing or anything like that, so I'm just scratching the surface. And I buy the entire Adobe suite, which I don't use. Like I might use Lightroom once a year, Premiere maybe 4 times a year. Yeah, those are the 2 other tools I use.
I mean, I used to use Premiere all the time. I upgraded to Final Cut, and I don't want to go back.
I think when you're on M series Max, it's hard to go back.
Yeah,
especially if you have a ProRes workflow. I'm not sure if you record ProRes, but it just makes everything much.
I do not.
Much better.
You know, actually, I record everything on the ATEM.
So MP4, I think, is what the ATEM spits out. It's like a container. I don't know what's inside of there.
I don't know what's actually inside, but and then it automatically synchronizes over to that machine, and I love the fact that it's recording on there and automatically synchronizes, and I don't have to think about files. It just shows up, and I can open up Final Cut, and it just works.
That's fantastic.
Which is amazing.
Didn't look for like laptops for family or anything like that. That typically comes up for me.
No.
Some family member needs a laptop and wants advice around Black Friday. No. TVs, same thing. No?
I did find it interesting that I saw a clip from MKBHD, Marques Brownlee, talking about the M3 laptops.
Right. The one that he got in black because he loves black.
Yes.
Like matte black.
But his and you know, Apple sent him one, like I think basically for free.
I didn't know that. Okay.
But his main work laptop, he's still using his M1
Air. He's still using his Air. Yeah, it's his Air.
Okay.
It's his Air. He got the M3 in black. Not sorry, the paraphrases I feel bad. But one, it's not black.
Like,
the first thing that he
it's
really
very dark gray.
Very might be doing a lot of work here. It's certainly dark gray.
It's darker than the previous.
Right. The other thing that he said is like he, for the most part, can't tell the difference between like an M2 and M3. They're very fast. Like the conclusion, but the M1 Air, I think, is what he's using because it's so tiny. He can still
edit videos M1 Max.
Is it? Okay.
And M1 Max is only on the Pros.
Okay. Because I thought he was still using an Air, and I was like, well, I mean, he said, listen, it still takes 10 minutes to export, but it's fine. Like 5 minutes is better, but it's still 5 minutes. So I'm going to go do something anyway. And it was like, he's doing 8K timelines.
Yeah.
Like, that just the leaps and bounds that we've taken in video editing are astronomical when it comes to things like low power ARM chips. It's night and day. It's not.
But then in my world now with AI stuff, you know, the GPU between the M1 Max and the M3, not that different.
Okay, now listen, I don't think this is a hot take, but I believe the shared memory between the GPU and the CPU is a game changer for AI local. Because
on M1, yes,
because you can get a ton of GPU memory for not free, but like for a lot cheaper than HBM5 or whatever it is on a GPU.
Yeah.
So you can get like I get the 64 gig version. I know you're still probably judging me over there, but like to get that versus like a 64 gigabyte GPU, forget about it. That is like I've got two 24 gigabyte GPUs here, and they were extremely expensive.
Yeah.
And being able to get 64 gigabytes attached to air quotes again to the GPU is amazing. The models I can run are phenomenal. I can run, like, I think the last time we talked, I've been running something for 3 weeks in a shared context, and it was phenomenal just being able to have that sort of space. But I feel like on the PC side, being able to get something like this is actually difficult,
Yeah.
if not impossible. Like
Yeah, absolutely.
unless you're running CPU, and CPU is
Yeah.
just so slow. Like you get awesome
Right.
results, but it's very, very slow.
Yeah.
That's what I think the game changer is on the Mac, is that shared memory.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. So,
Massive.
I mean, getting Apple
GPU speed
Silicon,
is not even that
absolutely.
great, right? Like no offense to
Oh, I
Apple
mean,
CPU.
it's great, but M1 versus M3 GPU,
Hasn't really changed, right?
it's not really changed. And you know, a few of the guys in the office got M3 Max, I think, yeah, M3 Max.
Yep.
And I was kind of bummed that I didn't get one.
Yep.
But then they're showing, you know, what their speeds were. It's like, well,
Same.
it's like hardly any difference.
Yeah.
Um,
The jump from Intel to
it was mind
or
blowing.
Apple Silicon is it's so big. It's similar to me, at least, from HDD to SSD.
Yeah.
Or maybe to a lesser extent SSD.
And for
to
a
NVMe.
long time, you know, the difference between M1 and M3 back, you know, 10 years ago, that difference would have been like, oh my God, it's amazing, because but
Right.
when we went from like Intel to M1, it was 100 times better than any other
like 5
upgrade
years of difference,
ever
right?
in
Like,
the history
how
of
long were you
Macs.
sitting on these chips? Because they're so fast.
So amazing.
And also, like, listen, I don't know what happens inside of Apple, but a lot of stuff was ready for that launch, which tells me they were working on it for a long time. Which again just boggles my mind. Like, how long did you have this under wraps? And like, how fast was this when you were working on it back in the day when you couldn't talk to people? Like, you must have known this is going to be incredible. And then it's down to timing. Like, how late can we push this release and also make it like a game changer? But nobody else released Apple Silicon-esque kind of processors. Microsoft started with the Surface X, Surface Pro, I think it's the X, was ARM based. And then they kind of canned out a whole operating system. Like, getting Windows on ARM for a while was difficult. I think just now you can, but I don't know. It just, to me, it just tells you that Apple was ready for this, and they're just kind of resting on their laurels for a bit, polishing things, and then when they launched, it was massive.
It feels like, you know, they got that ready, but then some of the other products that use it used it basically for a long time, and it's taken a long time for even like Final Cut to really take advantage of all the pieces. And there's a 10.7, which people were thinking it was going to come out today and maybe come out tomorrow or sometime this week or next week or sometime soon, that people are excited about because it takes more advantage of some of the pieces of the Apple Silicon.
Yeah, so I think having like ProRes acceleration built into the Apple Silicon is great. However, if you're not using ProRes, then you don't get that same amazing speed increase, right? So perhaps, this just guessing, perhaps they'll be able to handle some of the other codecs like H.264 or X.264. H.264? Yeah. I think X is the open one. Anyway, having that capability built in, I think, would help a lot more people than ProRes, because ProRes is kind of it's next level. Maybe you're using your Apple phone and writing to an SSD or something like that, or you're using like a Blackmagic device or an external recorder. But for the people who are generally recording in camera, I think it's going to be some other codec. Like XAVC HD or whatever Sony's is, that is terrible and takes forever to open. Yeah, but I do feel like this is revolutionary, at least in terms of video. So I'd like to see more. Like, what else you got, Apple? What's up your sleeves? Like crazy 3D monitors, maybe? Yeah, is it possibly something you can put on your head? The Vision Pro, right?
I don't know. I was looking at most interesting new EV cars coming out in the next year or two, and right at the alphabetically top of the list was the Apple car, which people are actually expecting to show up next year or the year after.
Without an announcement? What's it called? Project Titan?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
They say 2026, according to Mac Rumors. But I hate to name drop Mac Rumors, because like, this is rarely true. According to, you know, very notable site, Mac Rumors.
According to my sister's brother's ex-girlfriend's father.
I'm trying to think of the alternative, like Mark Gurman. Mark Gurman did not say this. But
I feel like there's that one quo something in. I feel like has said something. and maybe that's where all these people are getting that from.
Ah,
Ming-Kuo.
Ming-Kuo. Well, let's see.
Is that the guy's name?
Ming-Kuo Lee? Ming-Guo? Possibly Ming-Guo. Maybe not.
Maybe not.
we will find this rumor, but it does look like.
Yeah.
So there might be an announcement next year, I think, is what people are planning on, and that would be interesting. I have recently seen a Rivian though, and I gotta say, not to poo-poo Tesla, but the Rivian build quality seems to be a lot better inside.
Oh my god!
Compared to a Tesla.
Yeah.
Again, for all the Tesla people, like, I understand you love your car, but the inside of a Rivian is very nice.
Very nice. And every Tesla I've ever been in is it
feels
kind of cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I took a it was an Uber last time I was in San Francisco, and it was a Model S. So I mean, like an expensive car, $110,000 car.
Right.
And I mean, the bits of plastic were all rubbing together. I was like,
the finish,
it was really bad. And we test drove a 3 and the
3s feel pretty cheap, admittedly.
God,
I think those are the bottom of the line, right?
Yeah, bottom of the line. I mean, they're fast.
And I think what's the other one? The X? Is the X the one with the double wing doors?
X or a Y? Oh, so the Y. Yeah, the Y is the cheaper one, and the X is like the more fancy $110,000.
Which I've been in, and it was so
okay.
But it shouldn't be so.
But the Rivian is spectacular.
Now listen, my use case for the Rivian might be different than everybody else's, but this is a really cool portable battery pack.
Have you?
Could I live out of this? It kind of looks like I could live out of this. It's pretty awesome.
Have you seen? It's a long way down, I think it is, or a long way up.
No, I have not.
I feel like I've mentioned this on this very show. It's the Ewan McGregor and Charlie Boorman. And they ride motorcycles on different trips along, multi episodes.
Electric Harleys, and of course it's on Apple TV. So yeah, you probably did talk about it.
And so the last series they did was on electric motorbikes. They use electric Harley Davidsons, I think they were.
Yeah.
And their support vehicles were Rivians, and it was the first 2 Rivians that were made.
Wow. That's not what I want as a support vehicle. I'm sorry. The first 2 off the lot.
No, the very first 2. They had 2 Rivian, pickups.
They're like HA or DR kind of Rivians. Like if one fails, I've got a backup to my backup.
Yeah,
redundant.
But they were the first ones.
Very cool.
And so they did it all the way from, I think they started at the bottom and went all the way up to LA.
Very cool.
And what were the kinds of efforts they had to go through to
first
off electrify that whole route and ensure that they would be able to recharge these motorbikes.
Right.
And they ran into some issues where they actually had to hire like a tow truck with an electric generator in it to recharge their bikes and their Rivians.
Now that is a market. The last place I worked at bought a company called For Refuel, which is a refueling thing. And this is something we talked about a lot. Like at some point in time, we're going to need cars that have batteries that can charge other cars. And honestly, this is what I'm thinking. The Rivian has a lot of battery power as well as a lot of storage power. It looks like the perfect kind of vehicle to do this.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking is, so the Rivians couldn't charge the Harleys, I guess? That was just
the Rivians could, but they didn't have enough power for themselves.
Oh,
so they had to charge the Rivians, I think, could have been used, but they just had no power themselves.
Oh.
And there was a stretch where they couldn't recharge, or the chargers that they kind of seated along the route, there was a stage where it wasn't working.
That is awful. In Texas, during the trip that I did to Denton, we had a Polestar from Volvo has a Polestar.
Yeah.
And Texas actually had quite a few charging stations. We were amazed. And a lot of them were like free or really cheap. But there's still like range anxiety where you don't know if you're going to have enough range, which is, I don't know, it's odd. It's a weird feeling. It's like you're constantly running on empty in your car and you just don't know like what normal is.
Right.
And it feels weird. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I can't imagine being on a
Yeah.
motorcycle, even with two
Yeah.
support vehicles. That
Yeah.
sounds stressful.
Yeah.
That's bad.
But it's a great series. It's a great series.
Yeah, I'm also
Definitely
thinking
worth.
like Harley must have been a sponsor for this episode, right? Like this is the worst case scenario
Yeah.
for them in
Yeah.
terms of like,
Oh yeah.
hey, we're gonna sponsor this product for you. It's called Olame. It's great. You can run in your car, and like the car's got no juice. Like it'd be a terrible sponsorship sort of
Yeah.
opportunity. That's
Yeah. So
that's too bad.
it's
I will watch the show though. I love Ewan
yeah.
McGregor.
Though and all the all the series that they've done.
Yep.
There's a great one which is where they go. I feel like they start in London and they go all the way down to South Africa. I feel like that's the route roughly. And there's at one point that they go through like Tunisia and Libya and it looked beautiful, but I think for Libya, the Americans in the support vehicles weren't allowed to go. They had to like skip that country and fly to the other side
it's one of
because
those.
they wouldn't let the Americans in.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's an amazing. It's really. I mean, even if I don't ride a motorbike, but it's really cool. And, they went to the original filming location for the first Star Wars, the moisture farm that Owen.
In California, the dunes. I've been there. Yeah.
No.
No?
It's in
in
like
Libya,
in Tunisia, or I think it's in Tunisia. And so and it's still set up. It's still all the original stuff is still there. And in fact,
Matmata, Tunisia.
Okay. And they have like photos from like not just the first Star Wars, but all the Star Wars, like all along the walls. And it's like this tourist attraction.
That's really
and
cool.
so Ewan McGregor is there and he's like standing next to a picture of him in Star Wars and no one recognizes him.
It's kind of good, I guess, for Ewan McGregor, because in America, I think most people recognize him. That's awesome. So Nate said hi. Hi, Nate. Thanks for joining us late.
Oh.
We actually got a live guest. This is amazing.
Wow, look at that.
See, we're on the way to sponsorship bucks. Harley Davidson's going to sponsor the next episode for sure.
Yeah.
3 Harleys. Born on Revenge of the Fifth just missed May 4th. Look at that. So in terms of TV, the thing I've been watching, which is kind of cringy, I apologize in advance, but I've stuck back into Rick and Morty. The new season is quite good. Would highly recommend. It's on Amazon Prime. It's one of those like you gotta subscribe to something else, but yeah, it's quite good. Would recommend the new season. I thought it was gonna be awful. There's a long break. There's some drama in the background, but yeah, it's would recommend. The first episode specifically is very self-aware, which is a little bit like even more self-aware than most of the episodes, which I think is good. And kind of addresses some of the drama. I won't spoil it, but would recommend. Quite good. And it looks
what
like
else you've been watching?
That's kind of the main thing. Someone else in the family has been watching. I want to say The Queen, but it's not. The Crown. I keep saying The Queen, on Netflix. And I talked to friends, and a lot of my friends, similar to Matt, have canceled Netflix, but unfortunately had to resubscribe to Netflix for The Crown. So they're in like. I wish they release more episodes sooner so we can cancel it quicker, but that's how they get you.
I feel like I'm going to be resubscribing to Netflix for at least a while when Three Body Problem is available. I'm watching the series Three Body on Prime, which is the original Chinese version.
Right.
Kind of hard to watch. It's not. A lot of reading, and you can't be doing anything else. And
it's really thick, right? So Nate mentioned this in the chat, and I'll mention it to you as well because I'm surprised. But Tulsa King, actually really good.
What is this?
I think it's on Paramount Plus, so I had to sign up for a trial. But Tulsa King is, what's the guy's name? Sylvester Stallone, and. I don't know how much you know about Sly Stallone, but he's not like the best actor.
No, he's not.
he just isn't. However, I think what they told him to do is just sort of act like yourself, and he's a believable him as like a small town kind of gangster who's like a little bit smarmy, but not so much. It was like this feels like this is just you actually, and as a result, the acting is quite good, and his supporting cast of characters is surprisingly solid as well. And the writing isn't garbage, so it's like it's a passable series that really I was expecting just to laugh the whole time. It was so bad, so I went into it like, get the popcorn, this is going to be awesome. It was actually good. I can recommend easily. Yeah. So Nate says he can play himself really well. I'm pretty sure that's what they told him. Like, no, whatever this is, stop it.
Wow.
just give us a real you. But yeah, because he feels like the guy from Rocky. You take that character and throw it into Tulsa, kind of thing.
Yeah,
it feels like the same person.
Wow.
And I'm pretty sure his casting director is all about like, just play you. Don't get fancy.
Don't get creative.
Don't get creative. Just stick to the brief, and it's good. It's like heartfelt, kind of family, kind of gangster at the same time. But yeah, quite good. Yeah, and Nate's saying the seasons did have a nice little setup there. So would recommend.
Well, at the moment, our favorite series that's on, which is Spectacular.
Oh, okay.
And they are 5 or 8 minute episodes, and they are amazing. Okay. Now, it's not a show that I would imagine you reaching out for.
Okay, I thought it was called Spectacular, so I was rapidly Googling, and there's nothing called Spectacular.
No. It's called Bluey, and it's a kids program.
Bluey?
Bluey.
This isn't like
an Australian.
They're
blue mountain dogs, I think it is.
Yeah.
It is hilarious. Even for adults, it is. So Stella's gotten into it, and usually Stella's like enjoying it, but Tony are laughing out loud. I mean, it is extremely funny.
I like how, at least in the Wikipedia article, each of these characters has different traits.
Yes.
Which is important for kids TV, right? Because they're not all samey. Yeah.
Blue healers, yes.
Yeah.
So that fantastic. I love it.
So Nate's Australian.
Yes.
This is now we know. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, this is really cool. Also, I really enjoy Aussie humor. I'm not sure if you do or not, but
And it's so our daughter is at a school that's a Waldorf school. That's kind of the style. That's and you can tell that the animators involved are also very, very familiar with the Waldorf style, and so we see the same toys and the same. It's amazing.
Oh, that's awesome. So Waldorf is like seems
it's
to be community
a style of education. Yeah, I don't understand what's special about it, but yeah,
very neat.
Yeah.
Oh, there's an episode banned in the US too. A mark of a good Australian
show.
There we go.
Why is it banned?
Yeah, we don't. We have to pull this up offline. We'll get ourselves in trouble. I have so many questions, Nate.
Yeah.
Well, exercise to the viewers, I guess, is to find out which episode was banned and why. So we don't cancel ourselves or something.
Oh,
Dad pretends to give birth. Yeah. Okay.
I could totally see that now. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I guess we can end it there. We went a bit over time today.
Yeah.
Listen, we started on time and went a little bit late. I'd say we're doing good.
We're doing good. Yeah.
Right on. Well, always good to talk to you.
Yeah.
I will be around next week as well. I don't know if you're
okay.
You're not at reInvent this week, so yeah, that's the main event, right? Are you gonna be doing some user group thing? Is that next week?
Yeah. So next week we are doing. The whole team is getting together into Palo Alto, and then on one of the days, Thursday, I think it is Wednesday or Thursday, we're doing a meetup. So we're the host for the meetup. We're using the offices of A16Z.
Ooh, fancy.
And got room for a bunch of people. I think we're actually pretty much full right now. But there's
anything with AI in the name, right? Of course.
Oh
That's
my
awesome,
God.
though.
The folks who are going to be there is going to be incredible. it's not going to be live streamed because I think a lot of the people who said they would talk said, "Oh, great, you're not streaming it. Great, I'll be there."
Interesting.
So, but there'll be some YouTubers that will, and other social media kind of folks that are pushing stuff. So that should be great.
That is an interesting tidbit, though. That the fact that you're not streaming meant that the people still want to talk. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. We're gonna see, all sorts of people that are putting out the folks putting out a lot of models. Are gonna actually be there and talking about stuff, and
that is really cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be spectacular.
Wish I could go down. I've yet to see Palo Alto, but I've been to SF and San Jose quite a bit.
Yeah, so this will be in SF.
In SF, okay, gotcha.
But our office is in Palo Alto.
Gotcha. Well, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, if we get another day of the week that works, let me know. I'm happy to stream on other days too. But I wish you the best of luck. This is that is like the right place and possibly the right time.
Did
so
you change actors on us for Ryan? Yes, I
what I do, I have a haircut.
Original Ryan, he wasn't working out, and
I don't know.
Cheaper one.
This one has a better haircut and more acne. Sorry, Nate. I'll try to keep the appearance the same. I'll wear a hat that says hi next week for you.
Yeah.
All right. So we call it?
All right. Yeah, I think so. Let me look for that end stream button.
Woohoo.
I'm pretty good at this time.